Hey friends. So good to see everyone. And feel free to introduce yourself in the chats as well. And welcome to those of you who are new. Um, and if I've seen you at an in-person event the past couple of days, let me know in the chat just to see who's around. Also, go ahead and put your prayer requests into the prayer doc as well if you would like to offer a prayer for our practice. Great. Hey, let's see. Coco, who was, at the retreat in Florence. Yes, I'm still around in the area. I'll leave tomorrow morning. But yes, I taught in Manhattan on Saturday, which was really fun. And yesterday I taught in Florence, Massachusetts, which of course is a really big was a big kind of abolitionist area in the 1800s, and part of the Underground Railroad. And Sojourner Truth lived here in the area in Florence as well, which was really fun to learn yesterday. I taught with Western Mass, Insight Western Mass, which is really lovely. Yeah, see some folks coming to the Wonderwell on Wednesday. We're going to start Wonderwell on Wednesday, and then we'll be in Vermont after that, and then back here in Western Mass after that. Back to back to back, and I'm going to pick up Sister Sadada on Wednesday. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, everything, all the announcements are coming in the chat as well, so I won't go through that again. Sweet. Yeah, some folks participated virtually for the retreat. Yeah, it was intense. That retreat was really intense. I was going in real hard, but it was fun. It was wonderful. It was the abolitionist energy in the area that influenced the teaching. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, lots of stuff is going on in the world, as it always is. So always with practice, we bring the world into our practice and to our prayers, right? As we move into just opening to this experience of Medicine Buddha, which is really the experience of all the Buddhas, right? Which is also the experience of the nature of reality, of all phenomena, that very core experience of liberation, freedom. And what does it mean? I've really been talking about this past weekend, just like freedom, liberation, moving from reactivity to responsiveness, right? Holding space for our brokenheartedness, right? Trying to learn from the brokenheartedness, right? Offering this brokenheartedness, to the earth, right? To the space around us. And just really committing to doing this work, right? Understanding what our motivations are, our intentions. It's so important that we practice with the intention of getting free. Not necessarily with the intention of just being happier, right? Because that's very limiting. This limits everything. It limits the work when you stop at happiness. You can go so much further than happiness, right? So this is why we talk about freedom, liberation, moving through dualities, experiencing the nature of reality, remembering who we are, as we talked about yesterday here in the, on our half-day retreat was, returning home. Like, how do I return home? I know how to get there. I just need some support in doing that, returning back to the experience of the essence of emptiness, space, energy, right? Like our basic, most, simplest, most direct expression of being, right? So many of us, right? So many people, so many of us are just really being consumed by the suffering right now. This deep, everything, the deep disappointment, the despair, experiences of trauma, doubt, disbelief, anger, hopelessness, and so forth and so on and on and on. Right? How do we begin to take care of that? How do we let our hearts break and let our hearts just be taken care of by space itself, really? We talked about mourning yesterday too. Just the mourning, the grieving, right? That has to be that practice has to be present for us as we move through the world. We always have to be tuned into the grief, right? But the grief doesn't have to be overwhelming at the same time, right? Collective liberation as well, collective care, right? Relying on one another, reestablishing also just this belief in the complexity of reality and the complexity of the unseen and the seen world, remembering that there are so many beings around us who are trying to help, right? Who are trying to support our liberation. If we can just remember them and invite them into our practice, right? All the guiding, protecting spirits and deities and so forth, right? And so as we begin, our practice, just, actually beginning with allowing yourself just to come, well, I would say, gather yourself rather into the space that you're practicing, right? It's, acknowledging where we're at, acknowledging that we are sitting and where our bodies are, that we do have bodies, right? Noticing the seat under us, the weight of our bodies. And this is what I mean by calling ourselves in. It's just like, no, I'm here. Like I'm here, I'm in this moment, I am engaging in practice. I'm not in the past, I'm not in the future. I'm right here. I'm right here. Healing, like, I think begins in the present. It begins in the moment. The present is our touchstone to begin the work. Like, I can't start in the future. I can't start in the past. I have to start right now, right? With the sensation of the seat rising to hold me, with this breath, right? With this intention, right? Our overall intention to practice, to experience freedom, and to help others to experience freedom. I do this not only because I want to get free, but because so many people rely on me for their liberation and their support, their joy. So it's just, again, coming back to this moment, to the seat, to this aspiration. And there's so much, I know there's so much that feels really distracting for us. And this is a range of things, from our bodies to, mental, emotional experiences, to, just the concern that we have for the future, for our loved ones, for the world, right? There's so much that we want and need to happen. And so much of the practice is beginning to just name that, to acknowledge that and say, yeah, there's so much I want to happen, right? There's so much healing I want to see for myself and for others. And it's okay. And that phrase, it's okay, which I've taught many times, is such an important phrase that I want all of us to adapt into our practice. And we talked about this in both my sessions this weekend, right? It's when, so you bring your palm, up to your heart center, feeling the groundedness. When I do this, I just feel really held, really grounded, right? And I say, it's okay. And often when I'm doing this, it's really, I'm telling myself, that it's okay. Like, I can't fix everything. I can't get to everything. There are things that just will happen regardless of how much I don't want it to happen. My body is limited, right? And it's okay. And sometimes with this practice too, another kind of form of this practice is, when we find ourselves really struggling and really needing some grounding, I often just imagine reaching out to my teachers. It's just like, it's as if my teachers are like reaching out and grabbing my hand, that kind of groundedness can be really beneficial. That kind of like imagining, can be really beneficial, right? Or when you're alone, it's like, and you need, just like a touch, imagining that being touched by the Buddhas, right? By medicine Buddha, and so forth. That connection, or that, just imagining that, can be really, really grounding for us. The sacred touch of the deity, and just feeling that in our practice. And touch, in terms of physical touches, can be quite beneficial, and we've talked about this before as well in past sessions, but how we touch ourselves, our bodies, right? And touching ourselves even now really gently as a form of like somatic work, right? Just a really gentle touching of parts of our bodies that feel really neutral. Not necessarily parts of our bodies that maybe carry a lot of physical trauma, but finding like really neutral parts of our bodies and resting our attention there, or actually just doing some really gentle touching, right? Which I often do this, often. And it's just also a way for me to offer my body kindness as well, just a gentle kind of kindness as a way to recognize, that there is a body, and maybe because of trauma, it's hard for me to actually begin to tune in to physical sensations, right? But sometimes for some of us, we can get a little bit of touching around neutral parts of our bodies, and that can feel really grounding. Right? As we talked about yesterday too, sometimes when we talk about embodiment, full embodiment, may be really difficult for many of us in this lifetime to do, right? And so maybe, the first part of this embodiment is just admitting that there is a body here, and that's maybe all you can do, right? And maybe that's all you can do in this life, and that's okay. It was okay. This is the long game here, right? I know we come into Buddhism, and Buddhism says this life we can get enlightened. Yeah, I guess, right? But, we're also talking about multiple lifetimes of work, and it's okay. It's okay to say, you know what, maybe not this lifetime, but I will. That's what aspirations are for. I will eventually, maybe not in this life, but I will in the future, right? Obtain enlightenment, become a Buddha, right? To benefit all beings. Right? This is the healing work right here. The gentleness, the kindness. Now, of course, if you have experiences of me coming into your dreams or sitting beside you in cars, that's billable labor, right? So if you tell me, you're going to get an invoice. And it can be this simple, right? It is this simple. Like it's just this, just an opening, a belief, a willingness, right? There's so much help, right? There's so many beings, so many energies wanting to help us if we can just open to that help. right? I'm always being supported and guided, right? And I know particularly that I have much more work to do around opening even more. And this is why we practice medicine Buddhists, to open, right? Or is why we practice any Buddha, any practice like this, Tarch and Razi, whatever, whomever it may be. And if you're working with the breath, right? Uh, and if you're not working with the breath, I just invite you to let your attention continue to rest with the seat and the body, the weight of the body. If you're working with the breath right now, I'm just beginning to notice the breath, the in breath and the out breath. And if you can, if you're working with the breath, just inviting you to inhale through the nose, exhale out of the mouth. And as you exhale, imagine that you're just exhaling tension. Anything that you're holding on to that you shouldn't be holding on to, just imagining just releasing that in the out breath. Right? And as you release, allowing the body to come into a deeper kind of rest and openness. And for me, what that means is that I'm just noticing where the tightness is, where the rigidity and the holding on is, and I just release that. So as I exhale, I notice that my, forehead can be really tight, So releasing the forehead, relaxing my eyebrows, which in a way is just softening my face, softening my eyes, softening my nostrils, softening my cheeks, my upper jaw and my lower jaw. And my jaws and forehead is where I really carry, a lot of rigidity or heaviness. So releasing, opening, and you can carry that down into your shoulders, even inhaling your shoulders up. And then as you exhale, releasing the shoulders down the back, and then opening the upper chest here, our heart center. And keeping that work moving down into the body, into the stomach, into the lower back, into the hips, and so forth and so on. It's like I'm slipping in or relaxing into the state of Medicine Buddha. I'm going to begin with our opening mantra now. And of course, namasange, kino, soha. Okay. And I'm really into humming right now because there's so much benefit in just like the humming, the vibrations, and feeling that vibration really specifically, and just not focusing necessarily on the words, but on the energy and the vibrations and what that releases and opens and moves through our experience, right? So we're gonna start with humming so we're not, it's just like a like that kind of humming. And then we're going to actually do three sets of three here. So we're gonna chant the mantra 9 times. And so the first chant of is hummed, then we'll hum the mantra, like this. So very subtle, but of course we're working in our own spaces, so it can be manageable. So we're gonna hum it first. The first set of 3 is hummed. And then we're gonna chant the next set of 3, right? Om Namah Sangye Kino Soha. Do that 3 times. Then come back into humming the mantra 3 times. And then ending with humming, an extended hum of Om, right? And as we're moving through this can almost feel like an opening, I guess is the best word, but like opening, expanding, allowing ourselves to be invited, because this opening mantra is asking for Medicine Buddha to arrive, to awaken for us, right? To feel that awakening energy of Medicine Buddha in us and around us. And again, it can go back to like this experience of being held or being touched, right? And this is very nuanced. We're working on a very nuanced, subtle level here, and we're learning to sense, to listen on a really nuanced level. And we'll begin too, but I just want to say one last thing here is that the deities are always, in a way, they're always singing to us, right? There is like the essence or the heart of all the chaos. Like in the heart, there's always a really sweet singing or vibration or frequency, right? That you can be, like this weekend I was on the train in New York, which can be really overwhelming, but even in that kind of like can be very chaotic experience, with all the jostling and the talking and all this stuff, and the aggressive performance artists that get on the train that no one asked for. Anyway, even in all of that, like you can be there and still like not hear. I'm not talking about hearing. I'm not talking about using our sense faculties, but there's a tuning in to something beneath or in the heart of all of this chaotic energy that actually becomes an anchor for us, right? It becomes an anchor, and I can take refuge in that anchor and still be in really chaotic situations and not feel consumed or overwhelmed or overreactive, right? I am responding actually to what I'm sensing, the sweetness, the stillness. Actually, I would call it a stillness. And it's always there. So moving into this opening mantra work. Beginning with humming. Okay. Again, just grounding in our seats, feeling the seat rise to hold us, feeling the earth under us. We begin with Om La Sange Kino So Om La Sange Kino So Om La Sange Kino So Mm, 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 mm. And of course, just sitting, just opening, resting, and just listening, tuning into what's awakened for us. And so again, shifting your attention to the seat, touching into this sensation, this anchor of the seat and the body. When you're ready, just shifting from there into noticing your mind. And of course, to begin to notice the mind, we start with thoughts and emotions as expressions of the mind. Right? And the mind can be just like a vast fluid ocean, clear, sparkling. Like the clarity of the mind, the energy of the mind is the light, right? Like the brightness of this ocean is the natural awareness of the mind. The clarity is this, it's wisdom, right? And there's a stillness, in the heart of the ocean. And even though there's a stillness in the heart or the bottom of the ocean, as you rise to the top of the ocean, there's always movement and waves and friction. The rise and fall of these waves are the thoughts and our emotions. And a wave is no other than the ocean. The ocean is no other than the wave. The ocean and wave are just water in different states and different movements. So knowing that whatever thought or however I feel right now is just an expression of my mind, its clarity, its energy, its fluidity, its emptiness. And that no wave, no matter how big it is, will ever be bigger than the mind itself. So no matter what I feel, no matter what I'm thinking, no matter how big it feels, I know that like it cannot overwhelm the nature of my mind, because it is the nature of my mind if I can just remember that and practice with these thoughts as an expression of the mind, not as anything separate. And what would it be like in your practice to imagine even dissolving some of these big waves of worry, anxiety, doubt, hopelessness, letting these big waves just dissolve and fall back into the ocean, to give permission for these experiences to return back to the ocean like mind itself. to go even further, I wonder what it would feel like or be like to begin to imagine that this great, vast ocean of the mind slowly becomes medicine Buddha, that our minds slowly begin to shape itself into an expression of medicine Buddha. And not to think too much about this, just say, oh, my mind is transforming or reawakening as medicine Buddha. And so my mind and medicine Buddha's mind are just one mind, awakened, conscious, enlightened. And to just rest, right? Just to rest in our minds, which is medicine Buddha's awakened conscious mind as well. That I am becoming the healer, the medicine holder, and it is through my mind as a medicine Buddha's mind that I begin to offer experiences and blessings of healing to all beings. We don't have to actually imagine doing anything, but just resting in our minds as medicine Buddha and just letting this resting naturally begin to benefit all beings. And so just for a few moments more, just resting within this state, and then we'll begin our main mantra in a few moments. So a few more moments here before we transition into our mantra. And so as we begin to transition into our mantra, which you can find in the chat box, as we begin the mantra, just kind of remaining here and imagining that your mind, as Medicine Buddha, just expands to encompass all of reality, the whole universe. And that there's a stillness, there's a subtle, again, music or singing that we're just beginning to rest in and to be taken care of by. Just letting ourselves be in this state, this state of Medicine Buddha, essentially. This really subtle, nuanced level where healing actually begins and is facilitated. Right? Right? O te atam begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumunga te soa. Te adam begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumunga te soa. Te adam begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumunga te soa. Te adam sumungatesoa 대한다운 백은세 백은세 마백은세 다스 수문가테소아 대한다운 백은세 백은세 마백은세 다스 수문가테소아 Just turning my attention to the prayer requests and just remaining in this state, remaining in this spaciousness as I offer the prayers, calling into the space all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all the spirits and guardians of the land and all the elements, all benevolent ancestors, all beings who can help us, who can act on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers. We welcome you into this space as we offer our prayers for our practice. And ultimately, we offer this to Medicine Buddha to work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of all these prayers. We begin by offering prayers to Michelle, my therapist and guide of 8 years, who helped shape me into the woman I am today as she deals with her terminal illness and the challenges it's brought. Prayers for me and her family to not drown in grief, to celebrate her life and impact. Offering prayers for Carla and Francesca. May they be healthy, may they be well, may they be protected and held by their ancestors and benefactors. Offering prayers for Stefania. May her chemotherapy treatments be more productive than painful, and may she find loving kindness in her heart. Offering prayers for my depressive episodes, that they are productive and that I am not just going sideways for no good reason. Offering prayers for my little family, that we find the support we need when we need it. Offering prayers for my 15-year-old daughter, that she grow and find community to hold her through her life, to be there for her, care for her, and support her. Offering prayers for my marriage, that my husband and I find a way back to each other. Offering prayers that I get clarity of my lethargy and hopelessness that pops out of nowhere to take me down periodically. Offering prayers for my fear and dread for the state of the world, that I may find rest in the uncertainty. Offering prayers for Melissa J's mother-in-law, who is in the hospital and in bad shape from a hit and run, that she find peace and care. Offering prayers for all those who are struggling. Offering gratitude for my entire benefactor circle. Offering prayers for my inner abandoned and harmed child. Offering prayers for my search for sustainable and healing work at this point in my life. Prayers for my brother Patrick and his family. Prayer for those with exceptional needs of exceptional sensibilities to be whole and healthy and confident in their lives. Prayers for Jay, who is caring for a spouse with advancing Alzheimer's. Offering prayers for dear Eleanor, that her chemo goes smoothly and that she survives to be around for her children. Offering prayers that my community grows so we can support each other. Offering prayers for myself, that I may have some relief from anxiety and physical symptoms. Offering prayers for my father, that his health improves and he is able to see friends and do things he loves to do. Offering prayers for myself as I'm moving through some anxiety and stress related to work this week and having difficulty sleeping. Prayers that I may do my work well and take care of myself at the same time. Offering prayers for my child, A, that they may feel supported and loved through what seems to be anxiety and depression at a very young age. Offering prayers for Jo, that she may be able to work with her mania and find a wholesome way to share her work. Offering prayers that my partner may get the job he is hoping for. Offering prayers for Jeff as he is about to have heart surgery to clear major blockages. Prayers for myself as I encounter my own disability and pain again and feeling brokenhearted. Offering prayers that our new small business may find success so that money is less of an ongoing stressor. Offering prayers for everyone struggling with mental illness every day. May our suffering ease and may we find relief as quickly as possible. Offering prayers that I may be motivated and able to complete my work. Offering prayers that I rediscover my confidence to take up space and courage to live out my truth. Offering prayers for Linda Rodriguez, who is transitioning from this life into the bardo, for her husband Rob, caring for her at home with hospice. Prayers for his many friends with health issues, Hava Bailey, Mahan Silla, and his wife Janice, Kate Wester, Mary grieving the death of her husband. Praying for myself, needing progress with health issues, particularly the dissolution of a hematoma that has arisen after falling and spraining my ankle, and discernment about knee surgery. Prayers for emotional healing and stability through practice to give and receive love and healing. Offering prayers for my sister Leah, may she be able to get surgery soon and heal quickly with love and support from chosen family. Prayers for Olivia, that she may be able to ground and rest. Prayers for me to find a fulfilling job so I can find stability and contribute to a home and future with my partner. Offering prayers for Maria Luisa Baez, who is nearing the end of her earth walk. May she find peace as she begins to let go and return home to the Creator. May she be received in love and light. May she be released from suffering and awaken. Offering prayers for Kathy, dealing with moving out of her house and caring for her husband with early onset Alzheimer's. Offering prayers for Brian, may he trust in the capacity of Dharma friends to hold his deep well of suffering with compassion and care, that he may trust the strength of the Sangha to hold his beautiful broken heart so it can heal into the space of infinite Buddha nature. And offering prayers for my healing. Offering prayers that my family be healed and united. May all rifts be healed. My love fill all the cracks. Prayers for myself as I continue to navigate skillful liveliness. Use the gifts that this body and mind have given for the greatest good for myself and all other beings. May I balance work and rest with grace. Offering prayers of gratitude for my art and muses, may I have the courage to bring form and formlessness from form to benefit all. Offering prayers for myself for healing in my body, emotions, and mind, and the lifting of this heaviness. May, in support of all the prayers listed above, may we all have all that we need to heal and flourish for the greater good of all. Prayers for my mother, brother, and all. Offering prayers for me and my dad for our upcoming travels back home. May we be safe and healthy and have joy and healing. Offering prayers for my friend E, who was recently diagnosed with ovarian cancer. May she be healed and completely from all physical and mental pain and distress. Prayers for Ron Numbers and Jen Gamer, who both entered the Bardo this past month. Offering prayers also for Yasmin, that her treatment to go well and without obstacle, and that her care and healing continue to progress without any obstacles. Offering prayers for all of you in this space, that you all may have everything that you need in order to experience safety, wellness, resourcefulness, and happiness, that you continue to develop your own medicine and to offer this medicine to all those who rely on you. And I offer all unspoken, unarticulated prayers that all beings may be freed from the causes and conditions of suffering, and that particularly that all systems of violence and dominance and manipulation be completely abolished, that we all may gain access to all the resources that we need to live together, collectively supporting, helping each other to achieve our most awakened expressions. May we all achieve Buddhahood as quickly as possible. Returning back into our mantra. Again, just resting, opening, offering all of these prayers into all those that we have called into the space. And we ask that all of our benefactors help us to bring about the fruition of all of our prayers, and that we remain in relationship with the consciousness of Medicine Buddha in our practice. We begin again. O teada begenze ma begenze razzumunga tesoa teada begenze ma begenze razzumunga tesoa teada begenze ma begenze razzumunga tesoa teada te soa te ada begenze begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soa te ada begenze begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soa te ada begenze begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soa. And so shifting your attention back to your seat, coming back into this moment, this timeline. And just for a few moments, just resting the mind, opening as we've been doing. But just resting within the nature of the mind itself, this emptiness, space, this energy. And just again, returning back to the seat, beginning to reawaken the body through some simple movements. And we're going to turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer, Bodhisattva's way of life, or the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. And we're going to recite this 3 times. Okay? May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. And just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And just imagine that there's a bell here. All right. Thank you all so much for your practice. And may the blessings of Medicine Buddha, may the blessings of all the Buddhas remain with you until we meet again. May you always remember that the Buddhas are right there waiting and wanting to help out in any way that they can. And they're just waiting for you to invite them. So please invite all the Buddhas, all the beings of light, all the beneficial ancestors around us, those ancestors who are here to help. Let them in, and let them love you and support you and care for you. Okay? Thank you all so very much. I look forward to seeing some of you over the next 2 weeks in person, and for the next 2 Mondays you'll be having a practice leader because we'll be teaching in retreats. Okay, you have all the information there. You know what's going on, you know what's happening, so I won't reiterate any of that. But thank you all so much, and again, until we meet again, may you have everything that you need.